That's the biggest star in boxing. Tank Davis. Hip-hop star, influencer Ruby Rose.
The talent difference, the experience difference, we understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big.
The face-off between Jake Paul and Gervonta on NETFLIX UNCUT turned into a charged moment that instantly grabbed everyone's focus. The air felt electric as Tank suddenly shoved Jake Paul during the stare down, making it clear this fight carried more emotion than just hype. The two traded words right after, their faces showing a mix of confidence and tension. Viewers quickly noticed how small Tank looked next to Jake, with some saying the size gap was shocking. Still, others argued that height and build might not matter much because skill and timing could make this battle dead even.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You pay me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
Greg Hackett, a respected boxing coach and trainer, opened up about Gervonta Davis's mindset and expressed full faith in Tank's approach. According to Hackett, Davis doesn't get caught up in the noise or the hype that Jake Paul's camp tries to stir. He said Tank knows exactly what he wants and how to take it. Inside reports from the gym say Davis has been locked in, training with unshakable focus, leaving no room for complacency. His sparring partners describe him as sharp, ruthless, and driven, pushing himself harder than ever before.
Right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, all kidding, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance, you know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping, and it made me think. And I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me. It's Rocky III.
Observers who saw him at media events noticed his calm, steady presence, focused yet relaxed, like a man who knows exactly what's on the line. For Tank, this fight is bigger than fame or paychecks. It's a statement to the world that no matter the stage or spotlight, he can still rise and perform like the elite fighter he is. A victory here could push his name into mainstream fame, putting him in the same spotlight YouTubers and influencers enjoy, while proving that raw skill still outshines spectacle.
Something for you new to do, to try to keep you fresh and this and that, keep your name hot. You got to stay in the algorithms. You know, it's just a lot of pressure on fighters. And I feel like Tank being at, what is he, 30 years old? And you got kids. See, what people forget about is it come a time in a man's life where he just wants to slow down. You know what I'm saying? We can't all run around like we used to back in the day. I mean, that's tough to do. Sometimes you just want to sit down, enjoy your fruits, And I feel like that could be what he going through. He wanna just enjoy the fruits of his labor and enjoy life. And people don't want to hear that because they feel like you got more work to do. But it's his life.
Eddie Chambers, a former heavyweight who later turned coach, offered a more grounded take on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis showdown. He reminded everyone that boxing's history is filled with smaller fighters toppling bigger opponents. According to Chambers, those obsessed with size missed the real story: timing, experience, and technique. He pointed to classic bouts where smart, disciplined fighters outthought and outmaneuvered stronger rivals with pure ring intelligence. In his eyes, Jake's height and reach might serve him early, but Davis's explosive movement and sharp awareness could erase that edge fast. Chambers emphasized that fights aren't won by measurements, but by execution when the heat is on. He ended by saying that while Jake's physical edge is real, Tank's precision and instinct might make him the more dangerous man when the bell finally rings.
Press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and
Timothy Bradley, the former champion turned analyst, came out with strong support for Gervonta Davis, calling the fight easy money for Tank. His confidence came from the huge gap in experience between the two. Bradley noted that Davis has spent years facing elite fighters who truly understand the rhythm and danger of championship boxing, while Jake Paul has only stepped in with a handful of pros, many of them retired or crossover names. He gave Jake credit for his grind and for bringing attention to the sport, but warned that sharing a ring with Tank is a whole different world. Davis's ring IQ, timing, and calm under pressure make him a far more seasoned fighter. Bradley believes the result will show the difference between those born to fight and those who came late to the game. To him, Tank's experience gives him a huge edge, and even with Jake's size, his lack of depth will show the moment real punches start landing.
That something like this can happen, but this is social media, this is what is created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from it. And it ain't going to be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference, and all that, but he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's going to look bad. Tank is going to be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's going to knock him out or, but he's gonna feel.
Paulie Malignaggi, former world champion turned boxing analyst, didn't hold back when talking about Gervonta Davis. He claimed Tank's career has been too protected, too carefully managed, and lacking real danger. Malignaggi argued that Davis still hasn't faced anyone truly elite or proven himself at the top of his division. In his view, Tank's reputation comes more from flashy knockouts and strategic matchmaking than genuine challenges. Still, Paulie's comments tap into a larger debate in boxing. Has Davis really tested himself against enough high-level competition? While fans praise Tank's skill, speed, and knockout power, critics like Paulie insist greatness means taking risks against the very best. Yet despite all the noise, Davis remains one of the sport's biggest attractions. Known for his precision, his lightning speed, and his undeniable power, even as his resume keeps dividing opinions.
Innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot, man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro, so that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, one minute they said, oh, this...
Recent reports suggest that Gervonta Davis might be eyeing retirement after this high-profile fight. Sources close to his camp say Tank's motivation has shifted from chasing legacy to securing true financial freedom. The matchup with Jake Paul offers one of the biggest paydays of his career, and that kind of money could finally let him walk away on his own terms. Many see it as a smart, calculated move rather than an emotional one. Tank's already earned world titles, built a loyal fan base, and proven his place in the sport. Maybe he doesn't need to keep fighting. Still, fans are split. Some believe he's serious, while others think it's just another move to build the hype.
He's trying to clown people, but then he admits that Tank is the biggest name in Western boxing. So doesn't even make sense. Listen again.
Boxing, either the fans have gone down to the dumbest level possible, or the media themselves have gone down to the dumbest level possible for name.
See, so he's already trying to roast the fans and anybody who says Tank's the face of boxing, basically calling people dumb, right? Oldest trick in the book. But then he says, I understand that Tank is probably the biggest name in the West.
Naming this guy as the face of boxing. I understand we don't have anything. The fact that
I understand we don't have anything. Keep listening.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name in the West at the moment. Right.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name at the moment in the West. He is the biggest name in the West. Name somebody bigger. Right? Point blank, period. So you're off to a bad start. Name calling. Then you're acting like you don't understand it whilst mentioning he's the biggest name in boxing. And you're saying it's disturbing. Why is it disturbing?
is certainly disturbing, but it also shows you that you can make anything into a
Showbiz, the outspoken boxing commentator and YouTube analyst, took a more balanced view, recognizing both the highs and lows of Jake Paul's boxing rise. He gave Jake credit for reigniting fan interest in the sport, especially among younger, casual viewers who never paid much attention to traditional boxing. With his massive online reach, Jake has turned boxing promotions into global entertainment spectacles, bringing millions of new eyes to the ring. Still, Showbiz didn't ignore the backlash. He acknowledged that many in the boxing world believe Jake has carefully chosen his opponents, avoiding fighters his own size or skill level, a strategy that keeps him winning, but also keeps the criticism loud.
For ban on what you making. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing, for sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates? Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're going to come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is going to knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight him. What does that say about Tank?
Daniel Cormier, the former UFC champion and respected sports analyst, didn't mince words when sharing his thoughts on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. He said the matchup feels more like a business move than a real competitive showdown. Cormier questioned the reasoning behind it, pointing out that Tank isn't fighting out a financial need. So from a sporting view, it feels unnecessary. He even called it boring, not because the fighters lack talent, but because the outcome seems too easy to predict. To him, the event feels built more for social media buzz and clicks than for boxing's true spirit. Cormier's comments echo the frustration of old-school fans who believe spectacle is replacing substance. Still, his words deepen the discussion, showing how this fight blurs the line between sport and showbiz, where fame and fortune now rival skill and legacy.
Boxing is going to sing his praises like a hero. Though Jake Paul is definitely appreciated by the boxing world when it comes to what he is giving to the sport, especially women's boxing, okay? I mean, it goes without saying that Jake Paul, an MVP, has added to the sport of boxing. But Jake Paul, the fighter, people are over his shit. There's a huge amount of boxing pugilists in the boxing community who's over his shit. And if Gervonta Tank Davis stops that, if he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
Help you up. We're going to see about it. Help you up. We're going to see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment, will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, because the story isn't over yet. Until next time.